Before social media feeds, before influencers, and before the word viral became part of everyday life, Gabriel Tarde was already asking a remarkably modern question. Why do people imitate one another? Why do ideas, fashions, beliefs, and behaviors spread from person to person? In Tarde's view, communication was never just about sending information. It was about repetition, influence, and diffusion. To understand him is to understand one of the earliest and most insightful theories of how society spreads itself through communication. A brief note before we begin. This episode uses AI-assisted images, AI-assisted narration voice, AI-assisted music, and AI-assisted editing for educational storytelling. The visuals are designed to help us imagine historical ideas, but they are not documentary footage or exact reconstructions. What matters most here is the interpretation, the effort to explain why Gabriel Tarde remains important for communication theory today. Gabriel Tarde was a French magistrate, criminologist, and social theorist who lived from 1843 to 1904. He's sometimes overshadowed by better-known figures like Émile Durkheim, yet his ideas have gained renewed attention because they speak so directly to questions of media, influence, and social spread. Tarde did not begin with large institutions or abstract systems. He began with small acts, one person affecting another, one innovation being repeated, one opinion circulating outward through conversation and communication. Tarde's most famous idea is simple but powerful. Society is built through imitation. People copy one another constantly, often without fully noticing it. They imitate speech, beliefs, styles, preferences, habits, and judgments. For Tarde, this repeated copying is not trivial. It is one of the basic mechanisms of social life. Communication matters here because imitation rarely happens in isolation. It happens through seeing, hearing, reading, talking, and observing. Society becomes possible because human beings are creatures of influence and repetition. Tarde explained social change through three linked processes: invention, imitation, and opposition. First, something new appears. It may be an idea, a style, a technique, or a belief. Second, that novelty spreads through imitation as others adopt and repeat it. Third, opposition emerges when different ideas or patterns come into conflict. This sequence helps us see how communication shapes social life. Messages do not simply exist. They circulate, they are repeated, and they encounter resistance. Social order and social change both depend on these communicative dynamics. One of Tarde's most important contributions is the distinction between a crowd and a public. A crowd is physically gathered together. A public, by contrast, can be spread out across space. People do not need to stand side by side to be connected. They can be linked by reading the same news, discussing the same events, and forming opinions around the same issues. This is a major step toward modern communication theory because it treats media as a force that binds scattered individuals into a shared field of attention. For Tarde, public opinion emerges through a combination of media and conversation. Newspapers do not merely deliver facts, they organize attention. They tell people what exists as a public issue. Then, readers take those issues into everyday discussion, where opinions are shaped, repeated, modified, and amplified. This makes Tarde especially relevant to communication studies. He helps us understand that media influence is not just direct persuasion. It also works through social circulation, what people talk about after they read, hear, or watch something. Tarde feels strikingly contemporary because his theory can illuminate the logic of social media. Today, people constantly observe what others are liking, sharing, endorsing, mocking, or repeating. Communication platforms intensify imitation by making social visibility immediate and continuous. A trend spreads because people see that others are already participating. An opinion gains force because it appears to be circulating widely. Tarde did not predict the internet, of course, but he gave us a powerful language for understanding diffusion, virality, and mediated imitation long before digital platforms existed. Tarde's strength is that he shows how social life spreads through countless small acts of influence. But his theory also has limits. If we focus only on imitation, we may overlook institutions, class, law, power, and larger structures that shape communication. That is one reason later thinkers, including Durkheim, moved in a different direction. Even so, Tarde remains deeply valuable. He reminds us that society is not only built from above, it is also built from below, through repeated acts of communication, imitation, and attention. Gabriel Tarde teaches us to see communication in a wider way. Communication is not only the delivery of messages from one sender to one receiver, it is also the spread of habits, beliefs, desires, and opinions through social life. People repeat what they encounter. They modify what they borrow. They form publics around shared attention. In that sense, Tarde stands at the beginning of a long tradition of thinking about diffusion, media, and public opinion. His question still matters. How do ideas move from one mind into the life of a society? Thank you for watching Communication Thinkers. In this episode, we explored how Gabriel Tarde explained society through imitation, invention, opposition, and the formation of publics. In the next episode, we will move further into the social foundations of communication theory. Sources and further reading are listed in the description below.